for the players that bring.
Yeah, in the history of Hearthstone, there's been a couple of better mage decks, I would like to say, throughout Hearthstone's years, but nevertheless, let's get into game number one. Brazil versus Norway. It's going to be Race piloting for Brazil, and then NTR piloting for Norway. Both decks are Warlock, but Brazil is playing the Cube Lock versus the Even Lock of Norway. And I feel like this is a matchup that does have a lot of debate with maybe the resurgence of Cube Lock once again for maybe the third or fourth time in this rough meta game that Cube Lock's been around.
Yeah. Personally, for me, I do still prefer the Even Lock. I'd rather be on the Even Lock side of the matchup. A lot of Warlock mirrors that aren't Zoo just come down to giant control, is how I like to refer to it. Generally what that means is getting the first giant consolidated, and then you have control over whether you trade, whether you go face. If you're the Cube Lock and you get the giant down first, you have control over like Faceless Manipulator and cards like that to be able to make plays.
Jetzt gibt's Hexerschnitzel.
Norway can potentially play a giant in this matchup on coin on turn 3, as well as fit that extra life tap in to make sure they're drawing the giant consistently. That gives them a big edge early on to be aggressive. They get rewarded more for being aggressive because there's no hooked Reaver punish coming back the other way. And then Void Lord, well, guess what? We play Spellbreakers, and then you'll kill them.
And one thing to note as well is there is one Acidic Swampooze in Norway's Even Lock. And there have been lists that have ran two because there was space at one point and so much weapon fear. But I will say, if that one is drawn and that locks out so much of the Cube Lock's power, they can't get those free demons to actually just drop down onto the board to then activate Cube quickly.
No giant in sight yet for Norway, though, and it looks like Brazil have all the tools they need to even deny it if it was there. With double Doomsayer in hand, Brazil actually have a great deal of control. And when I talk about the concept of giant control in Warlock mirrors, it doesn't just come down to Mountain Giants. There are other cards that play into that. Doomsayer being one of them. As you see here from Race, he plays it out, he denies a potential turn 3 giant from the opponent. But also on top of that, there's cards like Stubborn Gastropod that we've seen being played in a very similar role.
I do like the just throwing the Blade Beetle down. The problem with being able to tap a lot is your hand is pretty full if your opponent plays Doomsayers. I will say though, it's kind of funny because Brazil had the option to kind of start the game on turn 5 with this double Doomsayer play. But now that Spirit Singer Umbra's drawn, is there ever a consideration? Get that 3-4 on the board, put some pressure on.
Yeah, and then Cube it the next turn, because that interaction definitely works how you want it to.
Yes. It just sets up for later double Death Rattle activators.
Right. This second Doomsayer now is really playing the spoiler for Norway, because not only did Race deny the Giant on turn 3, he's now denying Giants and Twilight Drakes on the follow-up. And we saw Norway just have to toss away cards previously to think of hand size concerns. And now Brazil have the option to potentially tempo to follow this up. And I believe that somewhere, not too far away from here, a convention hall near you, a man named Nathan Zamora is screaming for a tempo Doom Guard.
Oh god. Is this the matchup for him? I'm trying to take this one seriously, even though you said that with a huge smirk on your face. And we're a little bit closer to admirable than you would think, actually. At least inspirational-wise. Is this the matchup where a Doom Guard on 5 is actually going to get enough work done?
When you have the potential to then Cube Guard pact it on the following turn, I think it's somewhat reasonable.
Not if you discard them.
Because you have to put yourself in like the hand read of what Brazil have, right? They've denied a giant on 3, they've denied a giant on 4. They have no information about whether there's these big threats in hand. So they have no other like real high tempo play here. I guess they could play Zilliax and just no attack just to get something on board. But as far as Race and Brazil are concerned, if they do nothing this turn, it's a free giant for Norway on the following turn.
It's a bit of a risk-reward moment, and we'll see what Team Brazil decides. No hands anywhere near the mouse as far as I can see there. There's just a lot of deep discussion and deciding what the best play is.
This is something that I've heard multiple teams talk about, that they've planned for this event in particular, is that the pilot is obligated to keep his hands off the mouse until a decision is reached, right? Because it stops them from just going, okay, everyone shut up, I'm just doing the play. Although personally, I think there's merit in doing that in certain places, but also, because there's so many people discussing so many options, you don't want to have to drift for various cards in your hand, and talk about giveaway options to the opponent.
von der Arbeit
Okay, so the Ziliax did end up coming down,
Spiel macht, wa?
Ja.
which I think is just the safe
Schön,
route.
den Tag
This means that Brazil are probably just
kannst du ja
signaling
nicht mal
that
umfassen, richtig, ey.
Ja, ich hatte ihn etwas zu dick gemacht.
holding on and saying, you know what, give me 2 divine shields with lifesteal is going to be enough. Maybe we
Ja,
keep that.
kannst so schöne Dinge, du könntest sogar,
To see.
wenn du das Mittel und das Zeug dazu hättest, alles was,
Maybe not the most powerful options.
sogar uns ein Schränkchen zusammenbauen, oder was?
Doomguard memes aside, I think it's totally reasonable because if Mountain Giants were to come down here, well, you have the power that you need to deal with the Mountain Giants, right? You can attack and then with a Q pack, you can clear out the Mountain Giants quite nicely. You don't have to deal with it right away with the game. Even if you choose not to deal with it, you do just have this taunt in the way of attacking where it really wants.
We can see here it's just a relatively low power turn from Norway, although a 410 might look fantastic. Just not getting too much done, and now
So, ich hab wieder einen Haufen Hundehaare zusammengekriegt dann, ja, ey.
let's go.
Aber was für ein Haufen.
Giants an option, which is scary itself because they're just
Auch Leute, die durchstecken, und die sind immer noch nicht alle weg.
Yeah, that giant is huge because now with the divine shield torn in the way, as I was talking about, it's incredibly difficult, if not impossible, for Norway to kill an 8/8 through this sword, right? If the sword wasn't there, then just an activated spellstone would be able to do the 4 more damage that they need. But to get that Twilight Drake's ticket as well through the Ziliax is nigh on impossible, which means now, as you mentioned, Q packed can start to take over the game, and this goes back to that concept I was talking about. First player to get giant control is normally in a fantastic position.
Yeah, just a side note, there's no Siphon Soul in this even lock. That is a card that kind of dips in and out depending on what you want the deck to achieve.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not an option. So as you quite rightly said, there is just not a card in the deck that deals with this giant.
Na, an die kleine Kammer hat er so gestanden, so ist er so hoch
Also just all of these turns in general,
gestanden.
NTR and Team Norway just doesn't look good anyway. Never mind the fact we can see cube giants are available. Even just this turn is like, well, Twilight Drake 2 hit a divine shield. You know, it's like, okay. Can play the Sunfury Protector, which makes us a lot stronger.
Und plötzlich wurde aus dem Würfel ein Drache.
I think like Kobold Librarian Defile Spellstone.
Das dauert noch.
Enough to it with the Defile to then finish it off with the Spellstone afterwards. But yeah, enormously unlikely.
Mühsam
And
jetzt die
now
Karte Meerschweinchen.
Brazil have a value trade.
Ach, sag mal, hatte der Magier eigentlich das schon gesagt gerade?
Followed by cubing and
Was einer gemacht hat?
a bunch of 8/8s in play.
Funnily enough, for all the ordering,
Hat einer tatsächlich eine
the Defile after the 12, you could say it works out the same.
eine
but it's not, because
Euromaus
Twilight
im Planet
has
Coaster
only
gemacht.
health now. It's a very small thing.
Mit dem
You play
3D-Modell im
heals in your
Programm.
deck, so maybe that comes into it.
Gibt schon verrückt, oder?
And now you start
Ja,
to
vor allem, wie
see
kommt man auf Euromaus eigentlich?
the fact
Nico
that
von
even that
Nico.
long shows you the difference between
Ja, aber das ist so ungewöhnlich irgendwie, weil sonst kommt immer sonst irgendwas bei rum.
Ja, eine Mickey Mouse, oder?
Oder das, oder halt irgendwas komplett anderes, aber ich hätte jetzt die Euromaus nicht erwartet.
Ja. Erwarte das Unerwartete.
Ja, ihr müsst auf alles vorbereitet sein.
Bing!
Ding, dong, dang.
Genauso wie die Spieler müssen auch auf alles vorbereitet sein.
Sind sie das? Wirklich nicht.
Oh, you know what? I wasn't even looking at the Hellfire, I was just looking at the actual board state. No, you're right.
Hä, was?
For the record, I think this is the right play. There's just too many things.
Ist was runtergeflogen? Haben wir doch nicht mitgekriegt gerade.
You know, Bone Mare to trade here just being one of them. Any taunt really, you know, plays the spoiler, Shroom Brewer, all kind of things can shut that down, and then you've just thrown away a very, very good trade for yourself by being needlessly aggressive. But definitely think it was worth looking at and just making sure you're doing the due diligence on the maps.
There's still a Cube Dart Pact available on a Giant, which is kind of insane.
This one does not get to BT first.
Does anything else look worthwhile though?
Schnauze da draußen. Halt's Maul! Meine Güte.
I can see this. Just get one giant
Reset.
Bam!
and then you have potential on the following turn.
Right,
If this
right.
isn't dealt with, it's also a very nice turn to make your opponent do something. It's a turn where you're not necessarily doing the most powerful thing for you, but you are preventing your opponent from doing something very powerful, which is, you know, if they want to deal with this mountain giant, they're not playing Lich King. And I think Norway quite rightly cotton onto that and say, well,
Hey,
you're
es
trying
ist
to make me
Bitch
stop
King.
playing my Lich King, I'm just going to play my Lich King.
This is a pretty good turn though still from Team Brazil. It's definitely a weird game of chicken. When you're playing a matchup like this, when both players can just play A8s quite often,
Yes.
it becomes like the second you misstep, you're just dead because the damage impact is just so high every single turn. Because to me, again, just the Umbra Q just feels too good to not do. But are you opening yourself up to just way too much damage that turn then?
Yeah.
Because nothing has taunt.
It does mean that you then leave the Lich King up as well.
Exactly, yeah.
And wreak havoc on you, not just from the 8 damage that you're going to end up taking, but just the potential Lich King cards really just playing spoiler for, you know, Death and Decay to come down and sweep your Void Walkers out of the way as after they bust through your Void Lord. All sorts of bad things can happen with those Lich King cards.
But there's also on the other side that fear of if you just slam a Void Lord and then Spellbreaker comes down, well, yep, still a problem.
I don't think that's the end of the world.
You think just because you can Umbra-Q it?
See.
Yeah, I think you're at high enough health where you can just potentially play Void Lord here, and then if it gets Spellbreaker, exactly, you can just go ahead and Umbra it.
That's a lot of A8s. Then we just saw Zork start look at Huntress and was like, okay, we have to deal with more giants this game. This is unfair.
Ja, das ist jetzt scheiße.
Can actually clear the board this turn. It just cost them a few cards.
They don't exactly get a ton of development behind that as well, which means they pass back into pretty much a free turn from Brazil afterwards, but the board state's so oppressive here that asking to be able to clear this and gain tempo at the same time is probably woefully optimistic.
Maybe in the expansion, we'll get some extra crazy Warlock cards.
It has to go though, doesn't it? I can't.
I am terrified of this board if I'm Team Norway right now. Wait, what? Did it say like a defile? I didn't notice. Okay.
So you get health as well, then just take care of the giants.
Oh, just leave the cube on board? Okay. They get one extra card from Lich, get a second.
So geht's auch.
It's definitely not what you're after, and this means that even with this cube on board that can obviously just proc itself, well, the giants can't charge, right? So there's still time to be able to deal with it, but again, that just means, does that just mean you just doom pact him next turn then?
Yeah.
That's my question.
You do end up burning significantly less cards with the Doom Pack next turn. I don't know how relevant that is in the long term.
Especially with the tap it to Gul'dan as well.
Yes.
That's a very valuable card to not doom pact away.
It is.
Maybe a Void Lord train. And again, just what now? No way. I feel like that's been the story of this game so far is Team Brazil just keep piling on this pressure every single turn.
That right there is exactly why they've been facing down a giant basically every single turn,
Yeah.
because Brazil were able to go Doomsayer into Doomsayer, deny all the tempo, then they picked up their own giant, and from that point onwards, that one giant has turned into many giants.
Really not a bad burn there.
Really?
That's like Hellfire, Dice, and
Homunculus.
Really? Peace.
So the fact that they can clear that and get a giant out is actually pretty reasonable to me.
Really?
Nein.
Considering not playing giant this turn.
Doom Pact again!
Na?
Playing around Gul'dan, trying to summon some more Void Walkers.
La 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 la. La 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 la. Na, was machen wir denn da gerade? Die Elflöwen.
The Geist, of course, is a pretty relevant
I'm
burn
almost
for Norway to
out of
use,
time.
because there is that Dark Pact available, but I guess
We've
with
seen one, right?
Ja, meine Brille so
using one be used, and I guess with the cube used as well, it's actually not all that important. It's not like Dark Pact on its own is like a get out of jail free card in terms of just the pure healing anymore that it used to be.
Right, yeah, it's not just, oh, okay, I'll just play Cobalt Light Road and Dark Pact it. Giant Giant did end up being the final choice there, but must have been some discussion about maybe setting up something else. And maybe they are worried about what happens if Revenge just played now and there's just Void Lords back again. Also as well, good to know that Brazil just haven't found that skull of Manara yet. So these Doom cards have just been in hand all game and haven't seen any play at all.
They're not likely to either, because it's been so long that Norway have found all the time that they need to pick up that acidic swamp boost. So if these Doom guards are going to be a factor, yep, they're going to have to be played from hand, and here comes the first one. That is pretty much the dream.
Yes. Now there's Hellfire with 2 buffed Spellstones after that, and then there's the Doom Guard afterwards, so Team Brazil have multiple choices how to develop next turn based on their draw. That was perfect. They don't really, it's not really a matchup where you can get good defiles against even lock a lot of the time. The minions are either really small or really big. There's a lot of bridging the gap you have to do as the cube block.
It's the classic even lock dilemma. What number exactly would I like to put my opponent at? So the tap into Reaver is not a possibility. They need some other self-sorting damage. They've seen cards like Homunculus get burned. That's quite difficult for Norway to do this turn. They have more than enough damage in play to be able to cover the amount of damage that they need here. So yes, like in this situation, we agree with not allowing the opponent to put a 7/7 taunt.
And right away you can see the positives, right? This could have been a Giant and then a 7/7 hooked Reaver turn.
Yeah.
Quite easily. And it just isn't now, and it's just significantly harder to get any defense now.
Wenn ein Mensch putte.
Yeah, it does have a Sun Fury protector available to them.
Yeah, it's minion 2 isn't big enough, and then you have to put it on this Giant, so 2/8 taunts, don't get me wrong, is pretty big. But still, you're just a little bit away, and the problem is as well, if Norway trying heavily tap into it, they might just die, is the frustration right now. Being at that 15 health total is actually pretty scary.
Wow, is that 1 health on the Giant really that relevant in this spot?
I think
nicht
they don't
schlecht.
want to heal their own face, right?
They want to get down to Hooked Reaver territory?
Because they have gold down.
Right.
Na, mal sehen.
Hooked Reaver.
I'm just thinking, I get, yeah, no, I get this is probably fine, right? With the...
Der fährt vorne auf der. Oder Brasilien.
Brasilien ist dran.
The Hellfire Spellstone, it doesn't change anything, right?
Yes.
Like, Doomguard trades into 1. I guess you're out of range of that anyway. So
Okay.
what, 13 gets to go face in that world? Hellfire Spellstone kills 1, the Doomguard trades into another, and then 10 goes face plus the 3 from the Hellfire. So yeah, there's no need to heal the
10 wouldn't go face, because you'd Hellfire, right?
Oh yeah, you're
2
right.
Void Walkers are gone.
Yeah, okay. So it's only 11. It's fine.
It's 5 health, that's plenty. As long as it's not 0, you're good.
No, it is. You're absolutely right.
And again, so what Norway maybe can do next turn is almost recreate this board, but 2 7/7 taunts instead of 8/8s. So just the rules of defense
Dann los.
is going to be the plan
Mach
for
schon
Norway. But the worry is in this matchup is the even lock. You don't want to be the defensive player, even though they got forced into it with that early Doomguard back-to-back play from Team Brazil.
Wird ja mal Zeit, ey.
Die machen ja mal erst genau dann, wenn die Lunte brennt, Das ist voll langweilig.
Okay.
Ja, man muss ja überlegen.
Bam, Alter.
No heals or taunts. We can see that there are plenty of taunts available.
Ah, die nächste Tür könnte scheiße sein, Junge.
Health total, because now
Ja, hat ja noch 5, oder?
Ja.
Hooked Reaver, let the Giant hit 1.
Ich glaube, dann nützt dich mal eine große Verteidigung jetzt.
So the
Das
difference
ist ein
there
bisschen kritisch werden.
what
Weil er hat ja nicht viel
Brazil
Karten gefallen.
Spellstone play is that they get to kill the 4/4 as well, which I guess is quite important because that means if there was a 4/4 in play, the 4/4 can challenge their Mountain Giant. Whereas this way,
Hexer sind immer
not very
scheiße.
strange for them to do.
Well, they spellstones first, right?
Yes.
Besonders wenn er noch Cooldown heißt.
Can't remember exactly the order of what happened to make that relevant. It's the Hellfire, so they lost 2 health, right?
Viele Möglichkeiten.
Regardless, there is a big second wave of defense coming out now from Norway.
Now Brazil might have just
Und
run
der
dry
Frau Rose.
at this point.
Na, mein Junge. Ja, 2. 2 Dings ist so gut.
it's not looking like the draw they needed.
Jetzt kann es scheiße sein, wenn er den da gerade gezogen. Prinz Taldaram,
From the moment they got that giant in play, they really tried to snowball as hard as they can. They've been tapping very little, and now potentially paying the price for that, as they really don't have the resources to go up against this refill from Norway.
Right, and what's baffling me is I don't think I've ever seen a game where there's been so many giants on one side of the board, and then they might lose. It's crazy. The giants got cubed twice.
Yep.
How? How is Norway still?
Der Junge muss dann greifen.
Da bleibt die ja eine Spanne durch.
Einen musst du vernichten.
Jetzt?
It's just gonna be Hellfire Spellstone.
Jetzt?
Clear it all up. Next turn, just a
Oh
3/3
God,
with
yeah.
a guard. And a dream.
But it's just a nothing turn for Brazil, and finally Norway have some breathing room, and now they have the
Also 4
freedom
Punkte.
to try and redevelop this game themselves, and they are the team here to have drawn the Blood Reaver Gul'dan.
Gott, das ist ganz schön knapp jetzt.
Window of Brazil just trying to push damage
Oh,
and
I
sell
thought it was
lethal for
double.
themselves is very, very quickly going to shut in their face, and you see Race's reaction to that Gul'dan coming down. He knows that that
Oh,
potentially is the last hope.
Ah, mit ein bisschen viel.
At least the
Bisschen
whole hand
Rüstung
can be
jetzt
played.
da. Oh, er hat
Team
sozusagen
Brazil
10
with these swap
Punkte.
moves, the Tal'Daram.
Ja.
And the Doom Guard, but if Doom Guard trades, the Hero Power cleans it up. If Doom Guard doesn't trade, the Hero Power still kind of cleans it up and pushes it. Some damage, but the heals might just overtake Brazil there. I don't think they can just play everything. I think they need to start tapping and get Gul'dan of the right.
I agree. I think there's a couple of plays you can do here. You can like just life tap and then reevaluate, or you can do the same play without playing the ooze. So you play the Tal'Daram, you play the Doom Guard, you discard the ooze, and then you just fit in the life tap to double your chances of essentially top decking Gul'dan on the following turn. I really think Gul'dan is like the dream now. It's what they are playing towards.
Because at this point, they can't get enough cards in hand to piece together defense.
Yes.
So they need the one
Na,
card
Junge.
that builds them the defense and the
Ich spiele
offense at the same
Tal'Daram
time.
aus.
So yeah, I think this is going to be Tal'Daram Doom Guard, and it looks weird to just discard a card that you could have played, but the idea is just to be able to life tap after playing the Doom Guard, so that you can potentially get Gul'dan in hand.
And that's just a slap in the face.
That card's not the one that matters though. The card that rewards this play is the next one, the one that they draw on.
Because they're always going to draw that card next turn regardless. But that is just a bit of a slap, isn't it? It's like,
It is.
After all this, Skull of Mana. You're like, come on!
We can see that the ooze has been waiting the whole time though, and I think importantly,
Ja, aber
you
kommt
saw
jetzt,
Race
ja.
react very emotionally on the previous turn to the Gul'dan coming down. The team regroups and they identified there what I personally believe is the right out to play towards. Just fit in that extra life tap, get the Doom Guard in play, first off to relieve some of the pressure on yourself, and secondly just to get it in that Gul'dan pool if you are playing towards that top deck, which I think you should be.
So many bloody decisions.
We're slightly knowing this 3-3. Just because, well, maybe they ignore it, but like just Dread Infernal.
Ja, jetzt mach mal schnell.
Seems really good here. But if you do that, then you're not trading into the 3-3 and pushing damage instead.
Diese Entscheidung, was macht man?
Ja, los, überleg ein bisschen schneller.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that is a way to do a very similar turn.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of the same outcome anyway. It's just a little bit different. And you keep the Spellstone and keeping hold of a buffed Spellstone. I'm not gonna argue with anyone there.
Possessed, lackey, Race doesn't hit it, and again
Oof.
you see the reaction come out from him.
Oh.
Again, I think you identified it. You wanted to make a very high pressure turn, and you called it out. I think Norway identified as well. They understand what this game is about right now, right? Brazil need to draw Gul'dan. So now, finally, the tables have turned, and Norway get to play aggro, and they made just about the most aggressive turn they could have made that turn. I think that's two very, very strong turns back and forth from each respective team.
Yeah. It's just enough threat that you either think, oh, okay, we tapped to 14. There's 9 damage just available. They have Kobold Librarian, gonna deal another 2 if they choose to play it. And quite frankly, so I don't see how they could not play it this turn. You just need to cycle and hope that, again, it's very similar to tapping again, right?
Yes.
You draw 1 card, so you get 1 card deeper for drawing to Gul'dan for next turn. Because on paper, you are not dead right now. Maybe it's playable?
Die wird der Scheiß
There is the
waschen immer.
Took 2 damage
Und
from
die
them.
wäscht, überall ist das rote Zeug gespritzt. An der Seite von der Waschmaschine.
Das ist schon rotes Zeug.
Nee, du doch
Like
nicht.
he will still pull a Void Lord, right? There's still one
Papa.
in the deck.
I think you're right, yeah.
Hat eben Sonja gesagt?
Ja.
Nee. Mein Papa.
Ja, ich bin schon für alles schuld, wa?
Now only 9
Ich hab mich versprochen,
Ja,
meine
aber-
Herren, ey.
theoretical lethal, but as we mentioned, it's
Kann man sich
not
auch mal
one card
verquatschen?
that we're talking about that ends up being relevant.
Mit denen nicht, wa?
Lethal if Blood Reaver Bulldog comes down just by hitting face. There's a Void Lord. There is an army of Doom Guards inside.
Aber wenn es dann ja
This
jetzt
could just be
Wait.
counter
für Kinder
lethal for
aufpassen,
Brazil, even if
was
they
da
get
macht.
the right roll off the Blood Reaver Gul'dan.
Ich darf immer nur hinterher
I wonder
wischen.
if they
Fish.
think they can set lethal with Spellbreaker
Ich bin hier immer
and...
irgendwas drauf.
It probably won't be enough. These are hard turns is what I'm getting at right now because I'm trying to think through multiple different plays with full information and it's still hard to work out what the best turn is, never mind for these players on the stage right now.
Yeah. This is crucial though from NTR
Got irgendwie
Norway,
déjà vu.
making sure they torn up here because it's one thing if
Hey.
Blood Reaver comes down and really just stodges
ist
up this
passiert?
board and prevents their aggressive push. It's another
Irgendeine
thing if Blood
Wendung
Reaver
gerade.
comes down, pulls out the 2 Doom Guards and they just connect face and end the
Yeah.
game.
Na. Tja, Brasilien, das sieht beschissen aus.
Just the option here of whether this possessed lackey is trading. Because there is literally only one playable card this turn.
Shouldn't they always trade? Because there's only 6 spaces on the board that Gul'dan makes, right? There's 1 Void Lord died and 2 Doom Guards.
3 Void Walkers, 2 Doom Guards. Yeah.
Naja, die Notlösung.
Boah,
Oh, of course.
Bitte was?
Yeah, I forgot
was
about
ist jetzt passiert?
Was war das denn jetzt?
that. Oh wow, so that Void Lord could have been a Void Walker.
Was?
War ja auch schick.
Doom Guard could have been a Void Walker too. That's actually pretty much the dream.
Hä, warum hat er so viele Diener hier auf einmal?
5 big boys in there.
Also diese Mechaniken sind
Wir
bekloppt.
können jetzt Mittag.
The second Void Lord
Ich
play
brauch nicht.
forced onto the board was just a player
Dieses
saying
Video,
we
Sonny?
need something guaranteed because we can't just die to Spellbreaker.
Dann wohl ein Miniteller.
What is it
So,
with
ich
these
mach
games? Yeah, they are
2
massive.
verschiedene Leberkäse-Dinger, da immer Pizza-Leberkäse, immer das andere.
Ja, tatsächlich.
And now this game, it's nuts.
Ja, hast du besseren Vorschlag
Games right now, and this is only game 1 of this
zum
series.
Kochen, Sonja?
This best of 5.
Bloody decision.
The problem now is that
Ich
yes,
weiß
you
sowieso
can
schon
take
nicht mehr,
a
hier, wie ich was
majority of
machen
this
soll.
board with like a Spellbreaker Doom Pack kind of play, but that pushes you then ahead in the fatigue race and with basically nothing
was
left
wir
in each
essen,
other's
das ist der
hands, they just
Papa
get in
nicht.
each other's face until the resolution
Und
of the
was
game.
ihr
That's
isst, das
what
essen
Brazil
wir
at this
nicht.
point.
Ich hab da drauf auch keine Lust mehr. Ich das Ganze immer auf der gleichen Scheiß.
Whoa. Was that a misstep from Norway? They could have traded in there
Also du willst nicht, Mike, ne?
Nö.
to discard.
Sonny auch
Not
nicht,
bad
ne?
there.
Probably not.
Oh, okay, yeah, we didn't see card count.
Na,
Because
ist ja nicht schön,
You
ich
don't
will
burn
Sonja.
fatigue cards when
yeah,
you
yeah. It was just a natural
Machine
like,
with
wait,
tough
you really want extra cards, stop. But yeah, probably if Norway did that, it probably didn't
Andi, wie
matter.
viel Leberkäse willst du?
But as you said, fatigue's hitting. There's way
Yeah,
more
but
damage
it's
of
pretty
minions
easy.
represented on one side of the board, and that is Brazil's side.
Also 2.
Stone, an ooze, and a spellbreaker. I do not think is going to get this job done. It looks like Brazil, after a hard fought,
Wenn man mal hier genau sagen würde, wer was, wie viel will. Mann,
Yeah, they heal for 7
Might
with
need that
the
computer.
Spellstone, but the damage that's coming back the other way, I believe, is just still remains relevant.
Wait. Does it? Wait, Norway must have counted this. They know the 2 cards that are left is Skull, because they've got Ooze,
Yep,
and they know one's Godfrey, because you remember Godfrey hitting the board.
yep.
And Godfrey only reduces damage on Brazil's side of the board if they played it.
So that's only the first hit of fatigue, so they go up to 6. Next turn they go down
It's
to
2 more turns,
3.
right?
They take 2, yeah.
Das ist immer noch eine
They don't
knappe
have to
Sache.
ping minion, they can just keep pinging face themselves.
Then they reduce the attack by 1 because they kill a Void Walker. So they heal up to 13, they take 6, 7, 8, 9.
Ja, sieht ein bisschen
They take 12.
beschissen aus.
No, they take 12 next turn, then they win. Where's the fatigue tracker when we need it?
So how, if they take 12, they're dead.
Kacke,
Wait, how
ne?
did I get up to 13? Oh, okay, yeah, I know what I've done. Miscounted the void.
Absolut Kacke.
Boah.
Team Norway really throwing me off right now because normally this can be resolved. And they're still playing.
Yeah, they live this way by not shooting face, but then of course they're not shooting face, which is kind of a problem.
Yeah, because Race and Team Brazil are still one ahead, right?
Yeah,
It's
because
one extra
now
health.
Brazil go back up to 7 and ping to face and the 3
Right.
fatigue next turn still doesn't kill them.
Again.
Das ist ganz schön beschissen.
Are they hoping they like mess up and just hero power
Yeah, no,
minion?
I mean, I think it's correct to
Yeah.
actually play this out because there are options for the opponent to
Nee,
do
für
something.
Norwegen ist das doch wohl gelaufen.
I don't mind this one too much.
Mit der
I
Runde.
think with the caliber of player that you're dealing with, they're not going to, but still. And after all of that, back and forth with mountain
Huh?
giants, with cubes, they scrap their way through. Norway
Ganz
looked
knapp.
like they had a window in the end. It's a matter of 1
Und puff.
damage difference in the fatigue race. For
Da hab ich da
FTR
gekriegt
and
jetzt,
Norway. After an
Meine
epic first
Fresse.
game going all the way down to fatigue, it's Brazil.
Das hat zu lange gedauert.
Na. Da denkt man immer, Heroes geht so lange. Monster, das ist ja manchmal schlimmer, ey.
One game of just
One of the more emotional players on the team
Yeah, I'd
as
say
well,
so.
I think. The more, prone to a reaction, wears his heart on his sleeve. Both these players actually have just the one top 16 to their name in terms of HCT this year. And so just a little bit dwarfed by the achievements of some of their teammates, respectively. They're still great players in their own right.
yeah, duly respected among the relevant communities, right? Let's get into it though. Amaster Shaw tracking and Devil Saw Egg in the opening hand for Team Brazil. Whereas Zorkthar and Team Norway have Lost in the Jungle, Firefly, Divine Fairy and Blessed Might, throwing everything apart from the Lost in the Jungle. What do you make of throwing away Firefly?
I think it's okay. I think they're intending to play Lost in the Jungle on 1, so signified by that's the one that they keep. Then you're going to hero power on 2, because as mentioned, this is just all about going wide, right? Like, why pay 1 mana to make 1 body when you can pay 1 mana to make 2 bodies? That's what
Jäger gegen
Hunter really
Paladin.
struggles to deal with.
Also, these Argent Squires are actually going to get some work done because you were very scared in this matchup of the candle shot that we can see in Team Brazil's hand. But the Squires, it just soaks up too many minions to actually deal with. It's just super awkward. And an early tracking from Team Brazil as opposed to, I would say, the snap play of candle shot turn 1, of course.
Yeah. I don't mind it. This kind of like maximizes your odds of finding that Keloseth, right, which can end up being relevant, or a failsafe being an activator for that egg, which is what they do end up picking up. You also don't necessarily give your opponent the information that this is a candle shot game. Because a candle shot game and a no candle shot game in this matchup is very, very different.
Yeah.
They're night and day in terms of how much freedom you have as the paladin.
And Divine Shield going down first instead of Lost in the Jungle, and also, especially going first, well, you're not candle shotting face, so why spend the mana, right? You can almost guarantee a swing this turn.
I don't know if you caught that in your bottom left, but I think when that candle shot came down, I think Zorkthar turned to Huntrace and went, wait, they
What?
didn't play that on 1 and they had it in their opener? And I believe Huntrace's response was a simple shrug.
It would be my response as well, to be completely honest, but yeah, well, it's happened, whatever.
Yeah, moving on.
This hand is looking good for Brazil, though. I will maybe Brazil are just destined for this because they performed so well throughout all of the HGG weeks. And now, I said, it only takes them to just slightly miss their opening. Well, they got Candle Shot, they got a track in, which helped them end up with Egg, Terror Scale Stalker, Spider Bomb, and a mad scientist. Whew. But in the olden days, a mind control tech, which means that even the mind control tech, you might think, well, you just see a 1-1. It's like, yes, but it's plus 1-1 to you, -1 for your opponent, which is a big deal against Odd Paladin.
But look at the mess that Norway have made all over their side of the board already, though. We say this is about as good a hand as Brazil could have expected to have, and look at the army of 1-1s that's already there for a coin level up possibility.
And coin level up is definitely a possibility now, since they just do have it available for them. It'll create 4 3-3s. The Argent squad does not benefit from leveling up. She'll be forever level 1. But still, I will say, the board still isn't bad to beat a level up, is it? The board kills 3 of them out of 4.
Yeah, over a couple of turns, because I don't think much trading is going to be happening.
No, and then there's a mind control tech.
Yeah.
Which is okay. I'll take one of these 3-3s.
Yeah, the MCT will be huge if the level up does come down.
And then there's Ziliax as well. Great, obviously, with 3 attack killing off these initial wave.
Right.
This is actually, it might not look like it because coin level up is often a very powerful play, but this turn I think is way harder than it first seems for Team Norway right now. Western Might on the Squire takes down the Terrascale Stalker. So he said he didn't think he'd see much trading, but Norway are just saying, no, we need to go wider.
So if the level up, see much trading.
Backpedal sort of. Backpedal.
That's not a backpedal.
You know, I only listen to bits of what I want to hear.
I like it though. The play makes a lot of sense. They hold on to their coin. Now they can potentially use like level up into point white cleaver as a curve if they need to keep going long game, or just level up Fungal Mancer 1-2 punch, try and get the job done, and then creating an even more obnoxious board and putting Lucas in a position where it says, well, hey, like that last turn's level up had some answers. Develop a board with 5 mana that level up does not destroy now.
Yes. And also the coin actually, weirdly enough, okay, maybe isn't too impactful, but still helps versus a Grizzly play, like a turn 5 Grizzly, which is often what you want to try to do versus Paladin, because they normally blow a lot of their hand early on.
Yeah.
Coin also has a small impact on Stonehill options, and playable options within the same turn as Stonehill too, so definitely merit in keeping hold of it. And now again, question of level up this turn, you suddenly have a
Der Jäger hat ja schon auf der Schnauze gekriegt, ey.
nicer fashion.
That sounds like an open invitation for you to lose the
Immer
game.
diese armen Jäger.
I think this is about as long as you could really hope to wait with a level up in this matchup. If you just suddenly get your board swept by Rexar, that is going to spell the end very quickly. Yeah, feel like this one has to be the level up.
Level up.
I respect the patience, but enough is enough.
Play that level up. The one poke there going into the Devil's Sword just to say, okay, look, if you're going to trade, then you are dying. There's no waiting for it. Maybe it gets cubed and then replaced as well, so... We'll see what this Mind Control Tech's going to steal there.
Yeah, Mind Control Tech being the pertinent point right now because they chose to half trade into the 5-3 and then ship everything to the face, and that left them in the position where Mind Control Tech was live. If they'd have chosen to just take it out, they could have gone down to 3 minions in play. Mind Control Tech would not have been a factor. I don't know if they had a read that they had so much pressure there on Brazil with 1-1s that Mind Control Tech would have come down, but I don't think that's the reality of the situation. I mean, it isn't the reality because it didn't happen, but I don't think it would be a good read to make from Norway's side.
Now, none of this turn really adds up that well, and I think I was mentioning this to you yesterday, but I was saying, Spider Bomb with, Cube, play dead, maybe rush with Howmaster Short, great.
Yeah.
But sometimes I like it when you just play it and you're like, how are you actually dealing with this in a nice way? Often creates awkward moments for your opponent to be like, okay, now I need to get to his taunt, I'm making minions, but then Spider Bomb's just still on the board. This Spider Bomb now just dealt 2 damage and killed one of the minions you just made this turn. It just creates awkward situations. The 3-1 didn't get sniped though, so it means that this Mind Control Tech's a little bit vulnerable. But suddenly Mossy Horror as well could just take down an initial wave, and after seeing one level up, You were feeling pretty safe, and after seeing a Deathstalker Rexar from tracking number 2, goodbye board. And most importantly, retains that 3-3.
Yeah, actually, Norway killing the bomb on their own terms was crucial on the previous turn because of the threat of Mossy Horror. Mossy Horror coming down and destroying the bomb and all of the 1-1s on the other side of the board. Then it snipes the 3-3 at the end of all of that.
Yeah.
And Brazil get to push face with their mind control tech in that position. The play that they made was only vulnerable to the Deathstalker Rexar, and that tracking pickup is super clutch for Brazil in that spot.
Tracking's a really good card. A lot of the time, it does find you something that you need. This Vine Cleaver is going to swing into the mind control tech just to, again, continue the sort of relentless march that is Odd Paladin of just dudes hitting the board constantly.
And look at this. Again, another clutch play around the Mossy Horror, slapping the Blessing of Might preemptively onto the Stonehill defender.
The punish.
Great recognition of the situation.
Playing around 1 card instead of playing around 2 seems good to me, but those Hunter's Mark, Candle Shot, and Mossy Horror, if Lucas and Team Brazil want to go that deep and not press hero power this turn, which I think is a worry for me. If you make that play, you kill the 4-4, but just not pressing that hero power to maybe set up for a much more powerful turn next turn.
I think it's worth skipping hero power this turn.
You think?
Yeah, I think.
Don't think you can take 4 damage for 1 turn?
It's also the fact that there's then just a 4-1 up or a 4-4 up against the 5-5 that you're making out of this egg, right? Like, it's not the damage that I'm worried about, it's just dominating the board with this 5-5 and not leaving the Stonehill defender lying around. And I think when you're going into 9 mana next turn for Brazil, so the chance that you can, hero power, build a beast, play the beast that you built is actually very high.
Yeah, I guess to a certain extent, or a weird way to think about it is the 5-5 is a beast you could have made this turn.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean? It's like, it kind of works out, right?
Yeah. And that's a beast that you're protecting by killing the 4-4.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, Fundamancer, Raid Leader, like there's just so many options to be able to take care of the 5-5 with a 4-4 in Old Paladin.
And look at the mess of this hand for Team Norway. It's just a jumble of cards that doesn't do anything, right?
Yeah.
Nothing works together right now. The Corridor Creeper on maximum 7-drop mana. And I know your module fine, but you also know it pretty much just dies next turn. So it looks like Team Norway are just going to go as wide as possible yet again, get this Purify's Maul down to try and protect as much as possible after seeing the Mossy Horror, and say, right, this time, they've just been locked out by Rexar. They've just been locked out by Mossy Horror. Surely there's nothing left, Sol.
Oof.
Oof me one more time.
One more time. Oof.
It's a big taunt.
It is.
And again, this Mossy Horror. One thing I really just like about the shape of this card is it does very well versus the decks its Battlecry is powerful against. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It kills off small minions, and guess what? A 2/7 also kills off small minions.
Yeah.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. I feel like the damage to the face is more relevant here. And Brazil feel otherwise. What do you think about that? 5 damage is a lot, Sol.
Do you know what?
I want to kill him.
Do you know what I'd do for 5 damage? I'd leave a 1-1 with Divine Shield.
When there's 3 others with Divine Shield as well, right? It's not like it's 1 minion left.
On a serious note, as what I would lead into is like, I can understand like poking the middle minion if there's 3, for example, because then you deny like perfect Fungalmancers from happening. But when there's 4, this doesn't really seem to achieve a great deal.
And with draws like Katharina, build a beast.
King Crush.
You can just kill him.
Yeah.
Like, there's a chance you can just kill them. Play dead. Cancel another egg, but first off, let's get the main
Blowbat.
order of business.
Yeah, forget about summoning the egg. Let's build a blowbat. And Lucas does not manage to get it. Brazil suffering a little bit here.
No, but Scale Hide's just not bad.
It's true.
Really isn't bad, especially with the additional adapt here. Lifesteal Rush plus
Wind Fury.
Divine Shield now is an option. Poison isn't really needed as it kills everything on the board anyway. Plus as well, like, although Paladin goes infinite with tokens, it does run out of stuff to actually push relevant damage. So lifesteal comes into this game a lot, especially after seeing one Vine Cleaver already. There isn't a lot of high damage output cards outside of Leroy now.
Right. I wonder about this play dead as well. You now need very specific combinations to be able to get good low bats off this, but I guess this is a push from Brazil to say, hey, you know what? This is my play to take the board.
It's very powerful. We can see as well, double corridor creeper in hand's going to get some use. Finally, for Team Norway, they can get something that's sticky, but again, corridor creepers into 5 attack minions. And Team Brazil are great. If they can even-ish trade every turn for the rest of this game, they win.
Yeah.
And they have to just constantly worry about builder beasts. To the extent where they almost shouldn't worry about it because you can't play around it. Oh, you know, what happens if they get this? What happens if they get one big taunt? What happens if they get bloatbat? What happens if they get more lifesteal? You can't deal with it. You don't have the cards. And also Divine Favor's not going to be impactful in this matchup. I said it earlier and I'll say it again. Team Brazil just destined. It feels like it.
Well, that's probably the most troll draw that they've had, at least until the next expansion.
Oh, okay. The old Cave Hydra into Scale Hide would have been insane. I mean, that's still pretty good to me, though.
Yep. Just in the end, just using it as a big base health stat.
And this lifesteal, though, look like it's just chunking away now. And this is such a swing because every single turn this happens. Oh, maybe not a troll drop. The health difference is huge because at the moment both teams are just scrambling for control. And gone now are the days where Team Norway can go, what if we get Leroy Blessed and Might number 2?
Yeah.
Is there enough? Well, no, it's not even close anymore.
Right.
And especially as we can see that this Vine Cleaver is going to get cleaned up very quickly and gain the armor.
And even beyond that, like if Norway try and live in a world where like, well, you know, if we quit this Vine Cleaver, we kill this 4/4, and then the next 2 attacks connect face. Like, no, that still doesn't work with the lifesteal minion.
Yeah, there's still a 3/2, and that's without any beast they make this turn as well.
Played it again.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that is such a great draw because it opens up so many other options in Builder Beast for Rexar. Scale Hide, let's go!
Again!
Oh no, went for ball.
Ah, yeah, took
it's
charge,
lethal.
yeah, charge is lethal, yeah.
Oh wow, Brazil. Defying the odds, at least as far as we're concerned, twice in a row.
Und da verloren Norwegen erneut.
Taking a win with the cube lock, and then taking a win. Most importantly, presumptuous because I've already seen what the meta for this tournament looks like, but because there
Ja,
aren't
dann kann ich auch schon
that
wissen, wie
many
er komplett gewinnt.
classes that can build a strong aggro deck, you pretty consistently can just ban them, right? It's not like, oh, Pirate War
Nee.
is a possibility. Well,
Das
it's
wird
just
nochmal
not
Brasilien hier gewinnen.
along with like even Hunter, although people have been playing other versions of Hunter, they're not really.
Healing
It's
Rain.
very
Ha.
likely to face way more death rattle
Der
hunters.
Schurke gegen den Schaman.
You can choose to just ban out the couple of aggro decks that might tick up, and then you.
Der Schurke ist so geil!
At least got a control matchup. It might not be the best matchup in the world, but at least it's control.
Taking a quick look at Brazil's Quest Road lineup, I'm very interested these days in basically which cards people choose to bring back in to replace those giggling inventors. Been left on the rip pile. We're seeing double Mimic Pot, double Minstrel, double Fan being played, which is definitely not the standard prior to the nerf. That's all the card draw available. Lab Recruiter is in there as well alongside
Oh,
one,
fast eingefroren.
and then the Wax Elementals have come out to play again for Brazil.
Okay, and just
Vollbein.
a quick touch
Ist das für
on
ein Name, Alter?
Shaman. It's about as standard as it gets, to completely honest. One Earth Shock, and then there is just the Sandbinder again that we talked about earlier this morning in the Spain and New Zealand matchup. But yeah, just a solid Shudderwatt deck. I don't think outside of the small portion of time that Moyen was playing the Giggling Inventors, and now that's long gone. So we're back to just Shudderwatt, what we used to.
Yeah, if you guys didn't catch HGG Full Championships, Moyen and Scintilla were playing Giggling Inventor in their Shadowwalk shamans and
Hier,
actually
fress du Schwein.
really advocating for it, saying that they thought it was something that would catch on and it was something that people would eventually have to perceive that they were wrong about to not play it in Shadowwalk Shaman for so long. Well, unfortunately,
Ja, ob das schwarze Loch voll wird.
Yeah, they were just wrong.
Yeah, I might not know if they were right in the 4-mana Giggling Inventor went in Shadowwalk Shaman. I'm pretty sure 7-mana Giggling Inventor does not go in Shadowwalk Shaman.
I will admit though, after the nerfs, I queued my token druid deck without realizing I had 7-mana Giggling Inventors in and still won many games. Nice. Okay, still taunts.
Have a pat on the back.
Thank you. I'll collect it later. Coupon. 1 soul pat on the back.
Yes.
Du bist ein ganz liebes altes Schweinchen.
At least as far as I'm concerned, because you need to get going as a quest rogue, obviously, but you don't want the Shadowwalk to just chain draw. Because that's when they just get the answers and they get the faster starts and then can just Shadowwalk you on 9 potentially.
Yeah, no, I agree. Mana Tide should definitely go down unless you have a ton of pressure, and quest rogue is their deck that generates a ton of pressure by turn 3, so they can just take it down. The Novice Engineer does come down on 3 there, just to cycle through, but does remove that from the pool of potential minions to start bouncing on. Presumably it will go down here, even though there is a 2-1 in play. Yep, the weird things that you have to do against Quest Rogue. It's not necessarily the stats in play, it's which minion is more valuable to be back in my opponent's hand, and the answer in that scenario is a Novice Engineer.
Right. I wonder now if there's just going to be a bounce on this deckhand, or if there's going to be anything else that's played to try and just cycle into something, as you said, a little bit more valuable, because the game is, although you can win the game with charging deckhands, of course, a lot of the time, I imagine even post-nerf, it is just, well, I have 4/4s and a lot of them.
Yes. Charge damage has become a little bit more relevant again, I'd say. For example, you can see that from the Stone Tusk Ball, because Stone Tusk Ball was almost being played as a 0 of very commonly before the nerf came through. But when you lose that 3 4/4s, 2 of which with Divine Shield that you get from Giggling Inventor, it's a little more difficult to build board states that your opponent just can't deal with all the time. So that makes, deckhand, vanish, kill you kind of plans just a little bit more viable, but still on the whole, I think I agree with your assessment. It's not the OTK combo deck that it used to be with 5/5 charges back in the day.
This is Volcano as well. We see just Team Norway just valuing the card draw, because although Shadowwalk, does have that combo that they kind of will get there to eventually, when they're against a deck that doesn't let them get to eventually, then they have to speed this up, and they don't speed up all the time by the board control with, say, like an early Caliseth. They can also speed up by just getting to the combo faster than possible.
Shard Minstrel. Shard is the perfect draw there, really. They did have 2 activators in hand with Deckhand and Stone Tusk Ball for the Minstrel, but they didn't really want to play either of those. Deckhand is their quest right now, so they don't want to expose that to the board and then just leave it there by playing a Minstrel alongside it. And as mentioned, Stone Tusk Ball is a minion that you don't really want to throw away as a 1/1 if you can get away with it.
I'll say as well, this card Healing Rain for the Shadowwalk, it often in this matchup just buys you like 1 turn to do something, and that's it. You don't heal and be like, okay, I'm safe for a couple of turns while they beat me down. It's like, nope, I'm just not dead next turn. Fingers crossed for the draw.
Right.
And I think it starts to get a little bit tricky with the game plan, and it interests me in a matchup like this where kind of both teams have a quest, even though one isn't specifically a card, in the how slow can you play, or how value-based can you play, versus just trying to rush down your objective. It's tough, because I genuinely don't know, especially with the nerfs. Get it done pretty quick, as they can Zol and play the... there we go, he's going to play the Brewmaster as well and just maximize how much value is possible.
Reicht dir denn diese Hose?
And now there's 2 deckhands in hand.
Yes.
And also, just a decent amount of damage on board as well. Just 5 and then 6 with the dagger maybe. Right. That's just a good amount of damage to push.
Norway still missing very crucial
Brauchst du einen
pieces here as
Löffel, Hanni?
well.
Also ich mache lieber immer so was gerne mit
It might
Löffel.
be a long way away from a big old Shadowwalk themselves if they do
Ich
pick up
esse
the
Spaghetti
rumble sooner rather
gerne.
than later. Now that
Oder
Sandbinder draw
Macaroni.
on the far right could
Oder
help them get
anderen
there.
auch. Schmeckt mir auch nicht.
I wonder if they want to go chain gang this turn instead. The frustration is they just don't have anything good to pair with a 4-drop this turn.
Yeah.
And Totem just, unless it's This is actually just taunt, or spell damage becomes relevant later in the game, I think, with the 4/4s. But unless it's taunt, it just doesn't really do much. Oh, to the extent that they're considering mind control tag.
Yeah, I was about to raise that point. You see something that really pairs with the 4-drop. MCT is playable. It is a 3/3 that you can just use to get a bit of pressure down, and it does get it into that Shutterwalk pool, right? If that's your plan, to try and get through as quickly as possible, drop the life drinker, drop the sandbinder, find the grumble off the sandbinder, get that blade, and then jam Shutterwalk. Having that MCT in the pool can be relevant.
You know, whether the battle cry actually ends up hitting something or not, it does still add it to the Shutterwalk tool, which is important, but Norway decides to go, you know what, we'll hold on to it for a second and get the totem down instead. So the quest is currently 2 out of 5.
Mann, was kriegst du mich denn so schief an?
But no bounces outside the vanish.
Guck gar nicht mehr an.
Yeah, the hand has just stalled a little tiny bit
Jetzt
here.
sah aber eben aus, als würden wir so schief von der Seite
Make
anticken.
some kind of wacky
Ja,
vanish
ich
play.
hätte gerne geschwächt.
You know, when you consider there's Sonya,
Finster hier schon, ne?
there's the Fan of Knives, and just 2 Mimic
Alles
Pop.
klar.
So again, you were talking about what's
Im
changed.
Arsch ist es halb
In the
Booster.
quest strokes, and it's like double minstrel, double mimic pod.
Booster wie ein Arsch hier überall, ey.
Maximum card draw is changed.
Finster, Alter.
It's fine,
It really looks like
yeah, I was like, well,
vanish line.
if you even hover in that, okay, you're gonna save the coin. Probably coin out the Lyra next turn is what they're considering as well. Oh,
Finish!
Say, like, I coin Valyria, I don't think is where you want to be in the matchup, because that's essentially just a wasted turn, right? Like, why do you need to be in Valyria form and just protect yourself, be stealth, and allow the Shutterwalk Shaman to go, alright, here's my free grumble turn where I was under 0 pressure.
I was just thinking more just because you can duplicate backhands and prep maybe just hold the turn after.
Sure.
But you know, you want prep away from a good time at that point.
But you also, you haven't done your quest turn, right, yet? So if you were to coin out Valyria the next turn, you have to finish the quest the turn after that, and then it's the turn after that that you're doing something, like, enormously impressive with the Valyria hero power. Just get
Like I said, a prep would change the battle plan, I think. But yeah, I don't mind it. Don't mind either way. But what do you think of just using the coin to just play a wax elemental?
I like it.
Just get it on the board?
Yeah, that's a 4/4.
Factually incorrect?
It just is.
Are my eyes lying to me?
I'm from the future, Raven. It's a 4/4.
That explains a lot. Future seems like a very dark place if you're from it, so.
Oh, it is.
Oh, what did I say? One prep away from a good time for Team Brazil, and they keep talking about it. Are they just 3-0-ing? They went 6-0 in Swiss. They did not win their group in group stage, but still went 2-1.
Yep.
Pretty good score. They've won their first match here. This is their second match of Blizzcon, of the HGG finals here. And they look like they're doing well in the game against one of the most powerful teams in the tournament. And now, what are the answers? A volcano was used to draw cards on their acolyte early on. One volcano's gone. We haven't seen lightning storms, but they're also not in hand, so there needs to be something that happens next turn. And guess what? Agatha only does 3.
There is the grumble.
Halt, das sind die besten Karten, die du stand, dass du die rausspielen kannst. Oder rausspielst.
Playable in this spot.
And we can see if they don't heal or taunt, they're dead.
2024 with Zola as well, yeah, on top. Yeah, they sure are.
Ziemlich.
Just deaded. And it feels hard to even heal this turn. You know, like,
Yeah.
because you also, I don't think you can. I guess you could.
Ich bin so zurückhaltend, der gibt's ja nicht.
Kommt mir
It's
bekannt
just
vor.
like that little bit extra mana, and the 3/3 doesn't really change anything, apart from putting Life Drinker in the pool, I guess.
Life Trigger
Du
doesn't
musst
keep
dir
you
auch durch
alive
den
though,
Kopf
does
gehen,
it?
was könnte der Gegner auf der Hand hauen.
It's not.
Und dann
No.
so.
They come on roll 12, 16, 20, 24,
Das
28,
ist ja, wenn der Gegner die Karten auf dem Fleck hat und du hast ja nicht gemacht. Du hast zwar alles auf der Hand, aber du spielst nicht aus. Das bringt dir auch nichts, oder?
And that's without the draw as well. There could just be any like
Ja.
many draws, and it's just going to be
Nochmal
Was?
from Team Norway.
Ah,
And
ja.
say, okay, well, at least you get 4 less damage.
Push! Jetzt sind beide eingefroren.
MCT'd the non-taunt, non-divine shield minion.
Ach, jetzt nicht mehr.
and
Okay.
then throws the face. That is so unfortunate.
Wo ist Norwegen? Mach doch mal.
Alter, was zur Hölle?
Nee, Norwegen verliert.
And now
Huh?
Brazil find themselves one off, right?
Yes.
16 in play, 20 and 24 from the Stone Crossbow and
Oh, die
Zola
15, 16
respectively.
Schaden machen.
The knives
Also.
could change it though.
Not being able to swing the dagger means that they're two off.
They still have a lot of wiggle room in terms of mana.
Der könnte 16 Schaden raushauen.
I'm not sure they
Wenn er nicht noch was spielt, was vielleicht noch krasser ist dann.
because the boar, Zola boar, is 5 anyway, and then the fan is 8, and they play one boar, which has already been played, and 2 deckhands. Oh, Shadow Step would do it, yeah.
Aber er sollte definitiv die kleinen
That's what I mean,
wegkriegen.
they still have a lot of just high power. Would oh no, Sonny wouldn't do anything in terms of lethal. It definitely does things. It's a very powerful card. But yeah, Shadow Step could happen.
Greift wirklich alles an? Okay.
Valera
Und
there?
jetzt
Okay.
Battlecry!
Wait.
Dum dum dum!
Interesting.
Do you think that Brazil think that Norway don't have Grumble?
I don't see why you would make that
The
read.
fuck?
They haven't.
Because I think they were
Der
forced to play
Heiligen.
Shudderwock.
Right,
They have
yeah,
it,
yeah,
right?
they
So it's
haven't-
not as if it's like,
Real.
oh, Grumble's bottom of the deck.
Yeah.
I have to play Shudderwock.
They haven't given them time.
Weg damit, weg damit.
It's a weird spot there, because actually I think like Fan of Knives can hit Shadow Steppers and out. I believe if
Grumble.
they hit Vanish, they're actually in weirdly good shape as well, right? If they just send a bunch of 9 mana Shudderwocks back to their opponent's hand, then they're in a spot where they have a bunch of charges in hand, which more than covers that damage as well. So there were multiple outs from Fan of Knives that
the
they could have
fuck?
gone towards.
For now, there's just a lot of stuff happening.
Äh.
Really hard to talk about. It's just a
Was war das
mess.
gerade für eine bekloppte Kombi?
Okay, let's see what the draw was. Vicious Scale Hide. Can double play them to kill the Shudderwock, but there's almost no point because you know that there's more Shudderwocks in hand, so just add them, it doesn't matter. Oh well, they don't know the Grumble's in hand, right? So it could have burned.
No, they know the order that things go back in when they.
Right, sorry. No, you're right, you're right.
Just setting out to play the long game here with the Zola because I guess from Brazil's perspective on that previous turn, the opponent has to have
Nah.
the Rumble in hand. They also have to have the Life Drinker to actually make this
Jetzt will er aber raushauen, ey.
right. So it's a combination of cards that they have to have in hand.
This time, yeah.
So otherwise, Brazil are just kind of prepared to race the Shudderwocks for a few turns.
I guess they healing rained as well,
Yeah,
right? So I guess this setup was pretty reasonable.
right.
Because as you can see,
Na,
now with the
Norwegen?
Zolas and the Valera shenanigans, there's just suddenly 2 more Stone to Spores in hand that then become 3 more Stone to Spores next turn, if so desired.
There's the Light Drinker. It's check Race's reaction to that. That is the card that they definitely did not want to see because now all of these 1-mana Shudderwocks pull Brazil further and further into range.
Meine Fresse, was sind das für Kombis?
Vice versa for Norway. No amount of charges is going to be able to punch.
Was zur Hölle
this
geschieht denn
amount of
da?
damage that's going to be healed.
Yeah, especially
Die
just
kommen nicht mehr mit,
all the
was da
Glacial
abgeht.
Shard procs now are just an absolute nightmare. I think one of the unsung heroes of the deck, to be
Der
honest,
Experte
because
sagt nichts.
you think about a lot of instances where, you know, okay, the heal happens, but maybe without
Du sagst nichts
glacials,
dazu.
you can get it done in certain
Oh, weiß
worlds.
nicht.
But Glacial Shard is just that many
Hä?
locking it out.
Okay.
Norway do not get swept.
Da hat Norwegen einfach mal einen Sieg gemacht. Ich hätte jetzt eigentlich gedacht, Brasilien gewinnt.
For a lot of that game.
It did.
It genuinely surprised me they didn't fan. With like double Shadow Step, a Brewmaster.
Ja. Aber die
Ja,
immer
der-
wieder Kombis gezogen haben und immer wieder neu.
Yeah, no, the Brewmaster
Der
was
ist
too
schon
expensive.
krank,
Also
ey.
über die Zeit immer minus 3 Lebenspunkte, die ihn gekostet, der irgendwann gesagt hat, ja gut.
Schon echt krass, was da abgeht bei denen. Ja, läuft denn jetzt etwa noch ein... Es läuft noch ein Spiel?
Muss
Let's
dann
kick
aber
it off
schnell
though.
spielen.
Brazil on the odd paladin.
Wird wahrscheinlich 5 Minuten oder so wieder laufen.
Versus Team Norway on the Death
Das wird dann aber
Rattle
definitiv den Brasilien aber gewinnen jetzt.
opening, but a mind control tech, even a flanking strike isn't too bad. Even though you might say,
Paladin
well,
gegen
3
Jäger.
against 3, that you get loads of 1-1s isn't great. Yeah, but it does soak up a lot of damage.
Und dann nennt sich der Jäger noch Hunter Race.
Power of mind control deck in the previous matchup
Hunter
too.
Ace.
So
Ja, Hunter Ace, was auch immer.
Jetzt
scheißegal.
Freak.
Jäger-Freak.
Like eggs and activators, those are the things that just operate just a little bit quicker, a little bit more explosively, and that is more or less the dream from Brazil's side. Norway agree with the flanking strike mole. King Crush play dead, not where they want to be at.
and I'm not saying this is correct at all. I'm saying this
Ja,
is
das ist
wrong
scheiße.
circumstances.
Sieht schon zu Anfang an König Crush.
I fear
Hilft
the
er nicht gerade viel
flanking
bis jetzt.
strike mulligan because of draws like that is what scares me, and I know that's incorrect because but I do believe mulligan is so difficult that you get mentally blocked. It's like this card is okay. I could draw a bad card, which makes me lose.
I'm so stubborn that even though Raven is fully conceding that his argument is not logical and he's just playing devil's advocate and presenting the
Shine.
opposing side, which is good casting, by the way, I still want to give him a lesson in statistics right now. I will refrain from doing so.
We can
Entscheidest du dich heute noch? Meine Güte.
Yeah, okay.
We'll keep it like that, we'll keep it neutral. But yeah, the mulligan from Brazil ended up being a very, very nice. And that, again, we talked about Boisterous Bard a little bit earlier on. Getting some... just putting your minions at an awkward health total that Paladin often can't do outside of Fundamental and level up specifically. Is these are kind of hard because suddenly, imagine this comes down and then Norway draw Candle Shot. Nice one. Enjoy. You kill 1.5 of my tokens.
Yeah.
We did see the level up keep as well from
absolutely.
in Brazil,
Absolutely.
which is always nice to have it there because we saw what happens when it doesn't, and it's at the bottom of your deck like we saw from Team Spain a little bit earlier on. When a turn 5 level up is a key threat because Hunter can't deal with that.
Yeah,
They literally just can't.
Almost every matchup. Like, level up is just the face that runs the place. It's just the card that makes the deck function, and it's very, very hard to play the deck without it. So I do like keeping it in the mulligan in most matchups.
Yeah. Now, Spider-Bomb really good 1 for 3s right now.
Yeah.
Technically. This is what I was talking about earlier as well. There's just not a lot Team Brazil can do about it. They can drop the Ray Leader to just put 1 minion in and just hope that Ray Leader doesn't get sniped. Maybe that's the best option.
Well, if you just make 4 dudes this turn and ignore
And just
it,
skip it, yeah.
no
Just
face.
Ooh, okay. I guess that going that wide with tokens means that you're not even particularly afraid of play dead.
Yeah, what's he
Or
gonna do?
Terror Scale
Use his
Stalkers.
death rattle activators to kill your 1/1s?
I guess like Terror Scale Stalker would be a little bit annoying because
Sure.
he also puts a 3/3 on the board as well as you 2/2 that kills 1 minion and then kills another one.
Yeah.
But that's very specific and still it's not game losing, is it?
Right.
Pretty tough turn though, to be honest. It's like it's pretty tricky.
My thought process this turn is I don't see any way to kill this that I particularly enjoy. Therefore, I don't want to, and you can't make me.
Would you ever kill it and then make the 4 minions? And just say, well, okay.
I think if you're killing it, it's better to make this play and hold on to the Lost in the Jungle for the immediate synergy with level up. But this is fine too. It resets the game essentially. It was a time walk. Basically, nothing happened over the last back and forth of the board flipping. And now Hunter Ace just plays out his Devil Saw Egg, and he does have some 5/5s to make. But this is a key roadblock that Brazil didn't run into themselves. When they started to get 5/5s and big minions in play, they were not staring down righteous protectors on the other side, which is a huge problem to deal with when you just have one big unit in play and they've just got a 1/1 Divine Shield Taunt.
Well, this is a pretty reasonable response from Norway, obviously based on what they draw now, but Mind Control Tech into play there does even up this board at least in minion count quite dramatically. Or maybe that's just better.
Meine Güte, was ist denn heute los?
Cannot deal with 3 threes. Not this many.
There is the mind control tech though.
Heilige Scheiße!
Big swing, but crucially this is so much damage being forced
It's
through now.
absurd.
The blessing of might in hand as well.
It's absurd. And suddenly Team Norway are on 6 health. They have a Grizzly, but so what to a certain extent? There's Rexar, but Rexar doesn't deal 3.
Prügelt ihr den auf 19 runter?
So
This is
3
only 3-7.
if you MCG, 3 get trade
Ah,
off the
der nächste
board, you
Zug,
take a 3-3 off
entscheidet
one side of the
wahrscheinlich.
board, blessing of might still kills you.
If you Grizzly, it's 7, 3, 6. Yeah, you dead? 3, 6, 7.
Tja.
3 trade.
Scheiß Paladine.
It's 2
No,
cards
'cause they have the 1-2.
that kills you. Oh yeah,
Yeah, no, Blessed Might still
Same
kills you.
situation, blessing might still kills you. Yep.
Tracking into the new deal 3 to the board hunter card that we've not been told about yet.
Right.
I've honestly just made up. That's not even like a funny leak or anything. Tracking into death and decay. There we go.
Ah, yes. Well, if we could make illegal halfway turns, then this is easy. I play 1 mana, deal 30 damage to your face.
Na, Junge?
Wow, and just like
Das ist ein ganz schön verzweifelter Versuch jetzt.
even a 3-7 taunt
Junge, das
doesn't get
das
the work done. There's a rubbing of hands
Ja,
from
du bist am
Rexar,
Arsch.
who's nearest to the camera on screen. Void Ripper's always a
just
thing as
more
well.
styled and blessing of might. Brazil are gonna get it done. And I said this
Und
will perhaps be
wuff.
their biggest test. They are the most dominant team in the Hearthstone Global Games up until this point, but
Natürlich,
they now
ein
ran
Paladin
into perhaps
gewinnt.
the favorites coming in Norway, and they dispatched them
Tja.
handily 3 games to 1.
Das Leben,
I said
Leben,
it
das
game 1,
Leben,
I said it
Leben.
game 2, game 3, and why not say it in the game 4? Brazil just destined to win this tournament.